An intense area of wind, showers, and storms continues to impact our area. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather. Great to see you on a Monday, friends. I hope you had a great weekend. A lot to get into in this video. We'll talk about some areas of widespread heavy rain and storms and some gusty winds. Plan out the week ahead. I've got your island by island rainfall forecast as well. As always, I'd love to hear from the Meteo Mundo weather community. Let me know in the comments section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like. Some of you have had some very active weather over the weekend and on this Monday. We'll get started. This is our enhanced satellite imagery, the live lightning data here at Meteo Mundo, the winds that you see right now in miles an hour. That's what it looks like on the satellite presentation. This is what it looks like on our surface analysis. You saw a big blow up of thunderstorms on the eastern side of portions of the Bahamas. That's with a trough that kind of extends itself from the eastern sides of Cuba and just north of Jamaica, northwest of Haiti, all the way up the eastern side of the Bahamas. A lot of lift in the atmosphere. We're getting some heavy rainstorms and winds. We'll look at that. There's another trough across the Lesser Antilles and the Eastern Caribbean in general, and that has brought some gusty winds, some high surf and sea conditions, and waves of showers and storms and some active weather to those areas as well. High pressure tries to dominate the western portions with a little bit drier air, but still the opportunity to get some rain and some good winds back into those spots as we go through the week. So let's get started with this big ball of thunderstorms right now in the Bahamas. You can clearly see that along that trough line, there is a lot of instability in the atmosphere. This is a very high lightning count for late December. In just the last 15 minutes from time to time, we've had over 250 lightning strikes, nearly 300 lightning strikes. These storms are beginning to creep into places like Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key, on over towards Long Island, Exuma, the Acklands as well. And again, if you live in these areas and you look off towards the east, you're going to see a nasty line of storms that's trying to trickle your way into the area with a lot of lightning. And it has reached places like San Salvador where the winds there were nearly at 40 miles an hour. We've had additional rain trying to develop over portions of the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos as well, but it's very concentrated right now just east of the central Bahamas. We're drier in the northwest Bahamas, but we still have some breezy conditions there as well. This is what it looks like on the water vapor imagery here. And again, you can clearly see that that trough has really brought this localized area of storms, right? All of that green is moisture-laden air. All of the red around it is much drier air. So the chance for rain for places like Freeport and Nassau today will be much lower compared to the central Bahamas. But this activity should weaken a little bit as we lose the heating of the day. But just a very interesting feature there. And again, it goes along with some pretty darn gusty winds as well. Let's follow that and push our way to the south and to the east here, back through the Turks and Caicos, the eastern side of Cuba. We've had a few storms develop this afternoon over portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. It's been more isolated in nature, but where these storms have developed, we've had some very heavy rainfall. As a matter of fact, we do have some advisories for excessive rain for the Punta Cana area to the Samana Peninsula, all the way up towards Puerto Plata, basically the northern coastlines of the Dominican Republic and some areas inland towards Santiago de los Caballeros, all with the opportunity for some excessive rain. We're talking about maybe 50 to 100 millimeters in a couple of spots. That's a really solid 2 to 4 inches of rain. That's the other big thing here, friends, is that, look, I know it's late December, but there is moisture-laden air and a lot of moisture in the atmosphere in general, and we're getting some features coming through our areas to help pop off some of these showers and storms. Same situation for our friends in Puerto Rico, in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, where rain chances will be relatively high the next few days. We've had some windswept showers and a few storms roll across this area. And again, you can see the live lightning count in the heat of the day in the afternoon. It's not just rain. We've had a few isolated thunderstorms developing in this area. This is what it looks like live right now here from Meteo Mundo. We're taking a live look to the radar out of Puerto Rico, mainly on the northern coastline. That's where we've had some of the heaviest rain. San Juan, Vega Baja, on over towards Arecibo, Aguadilla. Same situation again, the northern coastline of the Dominican Republic. It's because our winds are mainly out of the east, or out of the northeast, and that's driving in the moisture into the windward sides of the islands here. We've had heavy rain, scattered showers and storms across the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Some of this has been fast moving, others have been a little bit more on the slower side, but these have been some pretty rowdy and impactful and what I call SLCs, or scary looking clouds. And I've got some photos to show you out of both the US and British Virgin Islands. We'll start with Sheila. Look at this shot from St. Thomas from today. A clear water spout has developed there, and I appreciate Sheila sending in this photo. Clear to the sea. Again, you can see those low base clouds, right? And we're getting those spin ups developing. So an isolated water spout or an isolated tornado possible through portions of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as we go through this late Monday afternoon. This is another shot. This is from Bailey. We're looking at the Lettsome Airport there for the British Virgin Islands, looking southwest. Look at that huge shaft of rain there. You can just see that coming down. So it's isolated, but you have some heavier downpours coming down through the Virgin Islands as well to go along with, again, a little bit of rotation at the lower levels. I appreciate Bailey and Sheila sending me in those photos. If you would like to send in a photo or video from your area to help tell the story, myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Just include your name, of course, where the photo or the video is coming from. You want to give me a little description as well, I'd certainly appreciate that. Let's go back over to our satellite presentation here. I'm going to take off the radar data real quick, bring back on. This is the visible satellite imagery here. It's going to take 1 second to loop this up. Now, again, this time of the year, we lose the daylight just a little bit earlier, but you can clearly see, do you notice that in the Eastern Caribbean, compared to what's happening in the Western Atlantic, we have our wind fields going in different directions, and along those confluent winds is where we're really popping off some of the heavier showers and storms. There's just a lot of lift in the atmosphere still in these areas, just a lot of instability, relatively speaking. So what that means is that we've had, isolated showers for today. We'll go back over to the enhanced satellite imagery for the rest of the Lesser Antilles. It hasn't been as concentrated, in this area, but we've had a little bit of rain developing here. High surf and sea conditions, Anguilla, St. Barts, Sabas, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbuda, Antigua, Montserrat, on over towards Guadeloupe. A little bit of moisture coming back in here to provide at least some cloud coverage and the opportunity for a couple of showers across Guadeloupe and Dominica for today. We've been much drier, relatively speaking, from Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. On the water vapor imagery, you can see that the red is encompassing these areas. We're trying to get some moisture coming off the mainland here to bring some showers towards Trinidad, Nueva Esparta, and the ABC Islands. With that southerly flow here, enough moisture-laden air to try and at least give us some isolated showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder. You can see a little bit of lightning developing there north of the Curacao area. My friends in the ABC Islands, let me know what's been happening in your area. We're trying to dry out a bit, thankfully, in Panama and Costa Rica, and overall for Central America. Still some moisture, but a lot of this is pushing offshore from Honduras and places like Nicaragua and Guatemala and Belize. And we've had a few showers and downpours develop across portions of Jamaica for today. We've had some wet areas. You can see some of that rain developing over the Montego Bay area on the far northwest side of the island. On the visible satellite imagery, you can see that some of the showers have developed even closer to Kingston for today. Look, not everyone has gotten it. It's been isolated, but you've seen some thicker cloud coverage and some darker clouds develop over Jamaica this afternoon, and that will continue to be the trend here. In the same situation, although relatively dry for my friends in the Cayman Islands. Friends, we'll get into the forecast as we do so. Again, thank you so much for a very simple payback. Liking this video, subscribing to Meteo Mundo if you haven't as of yet and you want these forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Thank you for sharing this with your family and friends. You can find ways to support the channel via our memberships. The super thanks are open. You can find other ways to support me here at the channel in the description of the video below. All right, so let's get into how this is going to be playing out over the next several days. Got a couple of interesting features here. Again, these troughs will continue to provide a lot of wind and rain and storms, especially for our northern and northeastern sides of the viewing area. It's going to be a little bit quieter the farther southwest that you go, but we're going to have the opportunity here to continue to provide high rain chances and a lot of wind. That's going to kick up the surf and sea conditions for you as well. We're going to take a look at your island by island rainfall forecast coming up here in just a little bit. So we'll switch over and we'll start with the models and we'll look at the next couple of days, okay? Of course, this time of the year, we're watching cold fronts coming off the United States East Coast. This is going to continue to push some energy off of the U.S. East Coast to interact with that trough and provide some rain chances for Bermuda, back through portions of the Bahamas as well. And again, some of this could be locally heavy. And by the way, it's also going to bring in a lot of wind. There is continuing a near gale warning for the Bahamas. That's 28 to 33 knot winds. Boaters don't want to be traveling out to the exposed Atlantic waters east of the Bahamas. You want to find the shelter locations, and small craft should really consider each day whether they want to go out of port with the active weather and the very windy conditions that we're going to see across the Bahamas. That will include portions of the Turks and Caicos as well. And again, just a fair amount of rain each and every day is likely for Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and especially the northern side of the Lesser Antilles towards the Leeward Islands. So places like Anegada and St. Thomas and St. Croix and Fajardo and Vieques and Culebra, all with, solid 40, 50, maybe even 60% chance for rain. Some of that, again, could be on the heavier side, some of that very squally weather. And you notice from that photo there from Sheila in St. Thomas, we could have some, more intense storms that produce water spouts or isolated tornadoes. So got to monitor that for the next couple of days. I think the best chance for rain in the Leeward Islands is going to be from about Dominica north. So that includes Antigua and Barbuda, and Anguilla, St. Barts, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Montserrat. You're just a little bit closer to more instability in the western Atlantic. We're still going to have some moisture-laden air through the entire island chain, but you get south of Martinique towards St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Barbados and Grenadad and TNT. And it'll be more localized, right? We're still going to see some moisture coming back in across the mainland to bring a little bit better chance for Trinidad from time to time. Nueva Esparta, the ABC Islands. None of these areas are just going to be, completely wiped when it comes to rain. I've got rain in the forecast for these areas each and every day. Now, we still have this broad Central American gyre, but it's beginning to kind of lose some of its oomph and some of its impact. But you can clearly see that we will still have some daily showers developing across a lot of Central America. So Panama and Costa Rica, Nicaragua and Honduras, Guatemala and Belize will continue to see that chance. Generally speaking, the farther north that we go, we're going to be a little bit drier up in Quintana Roo, much more isolated, 10 to a 20% chance for places like Cancun and Cozumel and Tulum. Rain chances will be on and off the board for my friends in Jamaica. Look, there's not a ton of moisture in the Western Caribbean as of now, but I do expect there to be a little bit of a spike in some of that rain towards midweek and then a little bit drier air coming in. But for Old Harbor and Mandeville, Black River and Montego Bay, Morant Bay, Port Antonio, look, I've got this itch, by the way, on my, on my mustache, my beard, I apologize. Hopefully that'll be it, the last time I have to scratch it. There's not going to be a ton of moisture every day. So many dry hours and locations here. Relatively comfortable temperatures, but we're also seeing some times from time to time hitting nearly 90 degrees Fahrenheit there in Kingston. And again, a little bit more active weather up here. Now we'll see how this gets into the Bahamas. And what I mean by that is that the farther west that you go, the drier that it could be. So Freeport may not have as much rain as Eleuthera over the next few days. The other big story is going to be the wind, guys. So when we look at these wind fields here, I'm going to start looping this up as I switch these vector fields to make them a little bit bigger for you here. Again, we're going to get a big pressure gradient from the trough that's situated in the Atlantic, so to an area of high pressure that's in the eastern side of the United States, to another area of high pressure that's more in the western Atlantic rather than the northwest. But there's tight pressure gradients, which means there's going to be a lot of wind spinning into our area, mainly out of the east or northeast. Obviously, this time of the year, that's very typical. The easterlies are mainly into play, but from time to time, they do swing more out of the north and east. So east to northeast winds, but they're very fresh. Look, anywhere that you see purple on this map over the next couple of days, those are winds of over 20 miles an hour sustained. You get to the pinks, you're above 25 miles an hour hour. And this is why you get those near gale conditions here across the eastern side of the Bahamas. I mean, these swells are going to be coming in with some double-digit foot seas, just a lot of wind energy as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and pause this here because it looks like the model's struggling a little bit to get towards the end of this. But you can just see over the next few days, right? Just strong east to at time northeasterly winds. And this really goes through the northern half of the Lesser Antilles, slightly weaker for the Windward Islands. Fresh winds for the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Winds will lighten up a bit in the Western Caribbean, so not as much for Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Central America, and Quintana Roo. But again, as I mentioned, active winds. And look, the opportunity for Bermuda to catch a couple of different fronts coming in, which will swing their winds all around. And this is where the most active weather is going to be. This is the European ensemble. Remember, look, we're not looking at anything tropically developing here, but we could get areas of surface low pressure to develop off of the fronts coming off the United States East Coast. And that's just more energy to interact with what's already in play in the Western Atlantic and through the Lesser and the Greater Antilles. And just keeps the pattern active for us here through these areas, as I've already mentioned: Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Leeward Islands. I think just have the best chance for a lot of wind and rain, and even a few storms as well. And again, we're not just talking about rain, but there are going to be some lightning strikes coming in. So let's break down your island by island forecast. I've also got a couple of city forecasts for you as well. I've kind of snuck in there. We'll start off with the Northwest Bahamas. Building rain chances through Thursday. 20 tomorrow, 30 Wednesday, 40 on Thursday. Could be island dependent, but overall the rain chances are going up. Look, the Central and Southeast Bahamas will actually be slightly drier. I know that there's that ball of storms coming in right now, but again, also area dependent with just more isolated in nature overall. Same situation for the Turks and Caicos. You know, isolated to a few storms for Cuba as well over the next few days. Cayman Islands, not as much rain, about a 20% chance. Belize City has a 40% chance for showers tomorrow, nothing heavy. And then the rain chances get back down to a 30 on Wednesday, Thursday for Cancun and Cozumel. Drier weather up there, drier air means a 20% chance. For my friends in Nassau, this is your 5-day forecast. 20% chance tomorrow, 30 Wednesday. Best chance for a few storms in Nassau will be on Thursday afternoon, and then drier air coming in behind that front. So we're back down to just a 10% chance on Saturday. Daytime highs running very seasonal, upper 70s to the lower 80s. Fresh winds, of course, on the eastern sides of the island, so keep that in mind. For Jamaica, 20% chance the next couple days, slightly higher on Thursday. We get up to a 30% chance, but then you start getting into the areas with better rain chances. The Dominican Republic and Haiti, 60% chance the next 3 days. Again, northern sides of the Dominican Republic could see some localized areas of flooding. Keep that in mind. There are advisories that are currently in effect for those areas. Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands is a 40% chance tomorrow, 50 Wednesday, Thursday. Bermuda's rain chances aren't high, but there could be some localized heavier rain and a lot of wind. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, that's a 40% chance for showers through Thursday afternoon. For my friends in Kingston, again, just a couple of showers the next few days. Relatively warm, 90 degrees Fahrenheit for tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, scattered rain in your best chance on Thursday, then drying out with more sunshine Friday, Saturday, again, daytime highs, upper 80s to right around 90 Fahrenheit. Antigua and Barbuda, 40% chance for showers the next couple days, up to a 50 on Thursday. High surf advisories as well. Just pretty active pattern here. Montserrat, Guadeloupe, 40% chance through Thursday. Dominica, Martinique, 30% chance tomorrow, then 30, 40 Wednesday, Thursday. Building rain chances down towards St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. So we go higher and higher through the week. Same situation for Barbados as well. Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada, it's about a 30 to a 40% chance each afternoon. But again, in these areas, localized heavier rainfall is a possibility. Scattered showers and a few storms for Suriname and Guyana. Not high rain chances for Nueva Esparta, but building rain over the mainland. South winds trying to push some of that moisture over the islands with at least a few scattered showers in the forecast. Again, mariners, please use caution in these areas, especially again, exposed waters of the Atlantic, northern sides of the Lesser Antilles, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic and Haiti as well, Turks and Caicos, and obviously the Bahamas. Strong easterlies here. You want to do a little bit of boating, it's better the farther west that you go in the Caribbean. Still could see some fresher winds in the eastern and the central sides. Gulf of Mexico will have some strong northerlies as well. Snapshot. And I'm not really sure why I did this on Sunday. That wasn't supposed to be Sunday, but we've already passed this, so I must have not updated that, and I apologize. This was supposed to be for for Tuesday afternoon. Now, it would be about the same thing, I've got to be honest, where you're going to have the opportunity for some double-digit Cs, but I didn't update that graphic and I apologize, but that shows you as well that the Bahamas have had very persistent easterly and near gale conditions there in the exposed waters. All right, European rainfall totals over the next 7 days. They start to get impressive again. You can clearly see the troughing and the instability and the lift in the atmosphere in the areas I've already mentioned, but down the road, starting in about the 4 to 5 day time frame and then into the weekend and early next week, we will have to start talking about some of Central America beginning to get more heavy rain developing there, but that's down the road. In the next 3 to 5 days, it's a lot of the areas that I've already mentioned, but you can clearly see in the legend, that's 2 to 4, maybe even 6 inches of rain. That's 50 to 100 millimeters. And again, we can handle most of that, but could there be some areas of quick flooding? It's a possibility. And again, some of the areas that I've already mentioned, like the northern sides of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, I would put into that category as well. Doesn't look like, unfortunately, here, I'm going to get the total precip on the GFS. I could do this real quick. From time to time, while I'm actually recording this video, the models are actually going through updates live behind the scenes. So every so often, there you go, all I had to do was that. I just have to basically reset my computer. Thankfully, that takes a half second. But you can clearly see here on the GFS, and this would be the newest model run, what this troughing and this overall instability is going to do for portions of the Bahamas. Some areas that have been very dry, like Walker's Key and the Abacos and Grand Bahama, could start to get into a little bit wetter pattern. Same thing for Nassau, New Providence. And again, you can see that, you know, the GFS does favor the northern sides of this. And this would all be, by the way, as we get closer to the weekend. Not as much rain in the short term, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this model takes you until the wee hours of Saturday morning, you get that idea. Same situation again, we're favoring some of the windward areas here across the Dominican Republic, and we can clearly see there's going to be a difference in the amount of rain Samana and Puerto Plata gets, even Punta Cana compared to the Santo Domingo area, and then off towards the Haiti side, Port-au-Prince, Lacaille will be relatively dry. Don't expect a lot of rain across Jamaica, as I said, but if Kingston picks up quarter of an inch of rain, that's not bad. On over again the northern or northeastern sides of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, you get higher rain chances. Vieques and Culebra will continue to see higher rain chances in places like Yauco and Aguadilla, although Aguadilla could have some heavier rain from time to time. St. Croix, St. Thomas and St. John, Tortola, half-inch of rain the next few days. I think we'll take that. You can clearly again see that the windward islands here, or the windward side of the islands, with the easterlies will continue to provide the opportunity for some heavier rain here. And again, GFS is a little bit more aggressive on over towards Guadeloupe. How about 3 inches of rain from time to time there? That would be pretty solid rainfall there. Martinique, St. Lucia, and over towards St. Vincent, Barbados, 1 to 2 inches of rain, 25 to 50 millimeters. And again, can we get some of this heavier rain to lift back up towards Trinidad? It is a scenario with the south wind where Trinidad gets a lot more rain, relatively speaking, than Tobago gets over the next 5 days. Situation for Nueva Esparta is scattered rain, and again, an opportunity for a little bit of rain in the ABC Islands. But the GFS model, as I zoom out in a very broad way, continues to provide you with the wettest weather in the areas that I've already mentioned. Friends, I appreciate you guys. You can follow us across all social media if you like to do so. You can find us on Instagram, where we do, no, it's TikTok, where we do some exclusive content, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, mymediamundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer. And while you're down there, thank you for liking and subscribing. Friends, you have a great rest of your Monday. Love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. And until next time, you guys take care. And I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.